Hello friends, welcome to DevOps tutorial, and in this video lecture we are going to learn Docker Compose. So Docker Compose is a powerful tool that is used to defining and run multiple containers as a single service. For example, you have an application that is required Nginx as a web server and MySql as a database service. So in that case, you can create a one file that is called docker-compose.yml. In that file, you have to define the instruction for both the containers Nginx and MySQL. And when you are executing this this service is docker-compose.yml, so Docker will read all the instruction that is present in that file and create the container on the basis of your configuration. So with the help of single service, we can create a multiple containers. So let's learn how to install Docker Compose on Ubuntu. In the case of Windows and Mac machine, Docker Compose are already installed when we are installing the Docker. So the first step is we have to paste this command into the terminal, and after that one we have to execute the read-write permission for this path where Docker file are present, Docker Compose file are present. So let's go to the terminal and check these steps one by one. So we are in the terminal now, and Docker Compose is already installed in my machine. So if you want to check the Docker version, Docker Compose version, we have command is docker compose -v. So this command is give the information of Docker Compose. Okay, so alternate command for the version is docker compose version. This also give the information of Docker Compose version. So let's clear this. Now our task is we have to execute the multiple containers as a single service. For that one we have to create a docker-compose.yml file. So for that one we have to create a one folder. Go to that folder. Okay. Now create the file, this docker-compose.yml file. And in this file we have to provide the instruction for creating the containers. Okay, so first is version. This is defined for Docker Compose. Next is services. So in this block we have to provide the containers. Okay, so first is web. This is the service name and the service for Nginx. So we have to provide the image is Nginx, and next is we are using for, let's create the Ubuntu. So the service name is OS, image name is Ubuntu. Okay, so let's save this file. Okay, so if you want to check that the syntax that we have written in docker-compose.yml file it is correct or not, for that one we have command is docker compose config. So when we are executing this command, it will check all the syntax are correct or not. If all are correct, it will print the same syntax in the console. So all syntax are correct, there is no error. Okay, so let's put some error to check that config how it's showing the error. So we are just changing this name. Let's say, and again execute the same command, and we can see here we will get the error invalid top level properties. Okay, so like this config command, it's check the all the syntax are correct or not. Okay, let's correct that syntax again. Okay, so let's clear this. Now we have our task is, the next command is we have to execute the docker-compose.yml file. For that one we have command is docker compose up -d. -d is for the detach mode. Okay, so when we are executing this command, Docker will read all the syntax that is present in docker-compose.yml file and execute that syntax one by one. Okay, so let's execute this command. So we can see here it will create the containers that name is test underscore os underscore 1 and test underscore web underscore 1. So we can see here the images for Ubuntu and Nginx is already present in my machine, so it is not downloading from hub repository. Okay, so if you want to check the containers, we have command is docker. So it will give the information of containers. So the first container is for Ubuntu and second container is for Nginx. So Nginx is up and running. Okay, now the next task is if I want to remove and stop all the containers. So we have command is in one command. So we have command is docker compose down. So this command will stop and remove all the containers that we have created from the docker file. Okay, so let's execute this command. So we can see here it will stop the container web and it remove the container, and it's also stop the container for Ubuntu. And so let's clear this. Now again, suppose if you want to add Nginx, if you want to open the port for Nginx, so we have the syntax for vi, go to the docker compose file, and we can see that when we are executing the docker compose file, so the name is provided by default by Docker. So if you want to provide your custom name, that also we can check here. Container underscore name, and you can provide the container name. So I provide the name of this container is 01, sorry, and I want to open the port for Nginx. So we have ports minus and provide the port 8080 for host machine and 80 is for container. Okay, so same thing, we have to provide the container name for here. Is 2. Okay, so let's save this file and again start the container using up command. So we can see here the two container 1 and 2 is created, and if you want to see docker compose ps. Okay, so we can see here the custom name is also provided, and the pod is also open for 8080. Okay, so let's go to the AWS and copy the IP address and check the Nginx is running or not. Okay, so paste it here. So Nginx is running fine with 8080 pod. Okay, so let's go again the terminal, clear this, down all the container. Okay, clear. Now suppose if you want to, like, you have the launch two containers and like you want to stop only one service. Okay, so for that one we have command is, firstly we have to start the container. Okay, now I want to stop the specific service, like I want to stop the specific Nginx service. So we have command is docker compose stop and web. So this is my service name. When we are executing this command, it will stop the Nginx service. Okay, so we can see here is already we can see here it stopped the Nginx service. So for that one we have to check it's stop or not. So we can see here the Nginx service is exited. Okay, so if I want to again start the Nginx service, okay, it's running. Yeah, it's running fine. The next command is docker scale command. So docker compose scale command. So let's try this command, and we are creating a one more folder, and we will check this as a separate. So create a folder. Okay, and here we have to create a docker compose file. Okay, and here we are using the one database image that is called Redis. Okay, so version 3, this is for docker compose services. Then database, this is our service name, and image that is called Redis. Okay, so this is the database image. So let's save this file and execute this docker compose up -d. So when we execute this command, it will download the Redis from Docker Hub. So Redis is downloaded. Let's check. So it's up and running. Okay, so now the next is I want to scale this Redis server. I want to create a 4 more new instance. For that one we have command is docker compose up -d scale and the service name. The service name is database, and how many instance? We need 3 more instance. Okay, so let's enter this command. So we can see here the 2 new instances created and one is again restarted. So this is the example of docker scale command. So this is the basics example for docker compose. Let's clear this out and just down all the container. So it will remove all the containers that we have created. So guys, thank you. This is the all basics command of docker compose. Please like and subscribe my YouTube channel, and please provide your feedback in my comments.